Coming up on The Time of Your Life, Fred Hui is a doctor who will just as readily prescribe Chinese herbs as the standard antibiotic drugs.
I have to act according to my judgment, what I believe is the best for the patient. I don't care the tools, whether come from one toolbox or the other toolbox.
Hi, I'm Jan Tennant. Welcome to The Time of Your Life, a show about people who are exploring new territory in their middle years. People like Dr. Fred Hui. Dr. Hui got his degree here at the University of Toronto Medical School, but he grew up in Hong Kong, and he had an interest in the ancient arts of Chinese medicine since childhood. When he passed the 40-year mark, he found the need to return to the East. In Beijing, where he worked and studied and did a lot of thinking, he decided that he has a very special mission in life.
Fred Hui personifies the winds of change whistling down the musty corridors of the Western medical establishment. A doctor who's out to build a bridge between Western and Eastern medicine, and that includes so-called alternative medicine. It's a mission with him, one that he comes by naturally. Fred was born in Hong Kong, got his medical degree in Canada, and recently took a sabbatical in Beijing to study Chinese medicine.
When I realize the wealth of treasures of both medicine and philosophy in China, and I'm capable with my English, I'm already situated in Canada, and I thought I would be a good calling. There's a calling on me that I feel that I could be the person to help to transmit this bridge of knowledge between the East and the West, and hopefully in that way I'll complete and balance the yin and yang of the medicine here and also the philosophy here, and ultimately it fulfill my goal as a physician with a heart of wanting to give people eventually the health of both mentally and physically. And I got quite excited about that role that I see myself suddenly get into.
He was a frail, sickly child who suffered everything from asthma to eczema, not to mention the taunts of his schoolmates, who nicknamed him Rotten Face. Life was pretty miserable, but it spawned his interest in medicine.
All your interaction with his doctors, nurses, clinics, and I never thought of anything else. And if I couldn't be a doctor, at least I'll be an ambulance driver or a nurse or something along the healthcare, because that seems to be an area that interests me, that I seem to have an instinct love for.
He was so sick he had to take all of grade 4 off, the first major turning point of his life. He threw himself into his studies and went from an average student to top of the class. It did wonders for his confidence. But now his mother's health was failing.
I often go to the library to look into subjects for her behalf, try to find something that I can suggest for her. And that's probably my first topic of medical research at the time.
Fred believes in fate. A toothache kept him from entering medical school in Hong Kong, and he got his degree in Canada, a big plus for him now.
Although in Hong Kong you have a chance of a bridge of Eastern and Western culture, but of course, coming over here, you will see a whole set of way of life, a new set of philosophy of people, and it's very different. Why don't you position yourself on the table?
Okay.
Just relax there, and I'm going to just touch up, ask the body's own repairman to try to fix your problem.
Okay.
Usually there is going to be a very tender spot somewhere here. Let me just check it.
There.
Right here? Yeah. I feel the little knob here.
Yes.
Western medicine deal with things that is solid, measurable, quantifiable. Western medicine look at structural diseases. Hurt you much?
No, not at all.
Chinese medicine so in the complement look at the functional diseases. Chinese medicine deal with something that is not in the world of matter but in the world of energy, such as tiredness, or you got a migraine headache, a pain.
Perfect.
He's an expert in the Chinese art of acupuncture.
Perfect.
Okay, good.
Great. Thank you very much, Dr.
Okay,
Huey.
so
I hope I don't have to see you for a while, but you always make me feel better.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
I was here in April of '95 with a similar problem on the other side, and he cured me right up, and so I walked in not being able to move too much, but left very mobile. So I really rely on him a great deal.
I think I'm a physician first. My responsibility to my patient. I have to act according to my judgment, what I believe is the best for my patient. I don't care the tools, whether they come from one toolbox or the other toolbox.
He reaches for a product of Western technology to treat a case of Bell's palsy, facial paralysis.
So we're stimulating every branch of the face using the anatomy as the nerve comes out. I'm just giving a kick. Okay. Good.
I had one treatment yesterday. I've already noticed some feeling returning to my face. I've had some tingling and some twitching already, so that's a good sign. I'm very happy that this is happening. Even though I'm not smiling too good. I'll give you a half smile anyway.
Fred places great store in Chinese herbal medicines and consults a herbalist regularly.
Have a patient with whole hands, whole feet.
In nature, whatever herb often was presented to us in balanced way. So if you use the whole herb, it comes in a balanced way. Or if you use it in a formula of combination of number of herbs together, it balances out the side effect. So it works as an orchestra, whereas Western medicine always sings single ingredient without any other variable.
In his early 40s, Fred left his family and his practice behind and took a sabbatical in Beijing. While there, he renewed his ties with the Chinese culture, spent a lot of time in solitary reflection, and embarked on the serious study of Chinese medicine. He worked in this leading Beijing hospital, the healthcare center of choice for China's equivalent of the rich and famous. It was a real eye-opener.
They used Chinese medicine as the first, and Western medicine as the second supplementary when it failed. So I want to see it from that setting and how people conduct medicine. So when I come back, that I can use it for my patient when I fail with my Western medicine.
This is cupping, an ancient method of fighting colds, used not only in China, but also in many parts of Europe. The intent is to stimulate the blood in the area of the lungs. This is Professor Zhang Liu, who until 3 years ago was chief physician at the Beijing hospital where Fred worked. Fred brought him to Canada.
I want to learn more from China. Instead of learning more and staying there, instead of me going to the mountain, I brought the mountain here. Try to look at it from Western and Eastern angle together. See whether we'll come up with some ideas. Mm-hmm.
The professor is Fred's teacher and mentor. He consults on many of his cases. They read tongues for clues.
Red.
补中益气，补中益气是补中益气还可以但是发际线可以。
I love medicine. I also love philosophy, and by reading into different philosophy from different cultures and different philosophers, you unknowingly become quite philosophical, and incorporating those philosophy into life, it allows you to a way of looking at life in a very interesting understanding. So the usual thing that normally make every person distressful and happy, I must say that I'm lucky that I see a way through it, and that gives me tremendous sense of peace.
During his sojourn in China, he immersed himself in Eastern philosophy as well as medicine, in particular Taoism, a way of looking at life that makes sense to him. Meditation twice a day is now an essential part of his routine.
I would say that trip was inspirational on top of being instructional. In the deep heart of Chinese medicine, you always talk about the principle of yin and yang, and then you start to see the truism of this type of philosophy, and also I be able to understand a lot of the cycle of things. I look at the a lot of correspondence in things. I start to see a lot of correspondence among, no matter what objects and what event, it corresponds to a certain pattern. And by seeing those common patterns, you will start to understand.
Fred met Rebecca when his best friend was pursuing her. When the friend gave up, Fred moved in, and they were married in 1982. There was a time when his family took a back seat to his work, but not since China. Rebecca welcomes the change.
I'm really Asian by heart. I'm a Buddhist myself, so it really impressed me a lot that he's changed his philosophy toward the East. He changed in a lot of ways. I would say he's more philosophical, like he would look at things from different angles, different aspects of things.
Okay, dive for it. Go.
Lucky for the girls that in university, Dad spent his summers working as a lifeguard. Fred makes time for them no matter what the demands of his professional life. Between teaching acupuncture to his fellow professionals and giving meditation classes for some of his needier patients, he often puts in a 7-day week, but not all day. He wants to give his daughters everything, but he knows a state-of-the-art playroom is no substitute for his time. He's thought a lot about parenthood.
I look at them as somebody I'm assigned to take care of. But at the same time, I look at them as fellow passengers in a journey, and they have been assigned to sit next to me, and therefore I have a duty to take care of them. But I developed certain philosophies that I don't own them. I like them to go to the same destination that I want to go, but if they end up going to different directions, this is also understandable. So I often think of us, we're fellow passengers in a certain trip, and this is our trip together.
After the break, Fred shows us how to cut a rug. It's part of that all-important balance between yin and yang.